UTC Overseas Inc. and its Global Project Division are pleased to provide you with this behind-the-scenes look at our specialty, transporting oversized and heavy lift equipment for our customers anywhere in the world, often over very large distances and in the face of complex obstacles. We assemble the specialized resources needed to safely and efficiently deliver cargoes with common characteristics, large sizes, very heavy weights, very high values, and often subject to stringent budget and time constraints. These shipments move along routes which can stretch halfway around the world and may often require multiple transport modes, including air, ocean shipping, rail, barge, and/or road transport. Over the past 20 years, UTC Overseas has successfully handled a vast array of unique and challenging cargoes. Our global network provides our customers with critical on-scene expertise to handle their project cargo needs from beginning to end. Collectively, our staff literally has hundreds of years of hands-on field experience. Their skills, knowledge, and expertise are key to our company's long and proud record of quality service delivery. To help you better understand what we do, we are going to follow a single project: the transport of a commercial electric generator system from the United States to Italy. The unique challenges of this assignment required a wider than usual array of specialized resources to successfully complete the task, providing a broad and detailed illustration of our capabilities, expertise, and resources. The main element of the shipment consisted of one 172 metric ton turbine skid destined for installation at a local power plant in the remote area of East Central Italy. This type of newly designed power plant equipment has earned an important and growing market share in the electrical utility industry worldwide. This particular project began, as all such projects do, with a comprehensive field survey. Surveys, usually conducted 3 to 12 months before the actual cargo shipment, examine every aspect of the move from beginning to end. The UTC Overseas Project Survey Team gathers detailed information, identifies potential obstacles and challenges, analyzes potential alternate routings where needed, compiles a step-by-step action plan, and identifies the resources needed for the move. The quality and attention to detail of the survey is critical to the ultimate success and cost efficiency of the project. This survey was undertaken a full year before the actual shipment, beginning at the East Coast port of Ortona on the Central Adriatic. Initial research had identified Ortona as the port closest to the final inland delivery location, and with the resources needed to transfer the unit and its associated equipment from sea to land transport. For this project, UTC Overseas was asked to handle both the ocean and the land segments of the move. This included the charter of an ocean vessel, review and signing of contracts, and scheduling the shipment as part of the project master plan timetable. The chosen vessel was surveyed to make sure its shipboard cranes had the capacity to safely lift the massive unit for both loading and offloading, and that the unit could travel below deck and protected from the elements during ocean transport. At Ortona, the UTC Overseas team confirmed everything from channel and berth depths to pier load capacities and gate clearances. Arrangements were made to assure that proper rigging would be available at both ends of the ocean voyage. The spreader bars, cables, and strapping needed to attach to cargo lift points and safely handle the generator's 172-ton weight. The survey team then spent 2 days driving the entire 43-mile route from the port to the final inland delivery point, virtually all of it on 2-lane roads. Along the way, they stopped continually to take photographs and compile detailed notes. Route maps and the GPS positions of intersections, sharp turns, bridges, overpasses, culverts, and specific points of concern were all included, as were load capacities of bridges. In some cases, the need for additional engineering studies of specific bridges and culverts was identified to assure they could handle the weight of the generator load. Precise measurements were also made on both height and width clearances along the route to assure the heavy lift unit over 61 feet long, 16.8 feet high, and 15.7 feet wide would safely fit between buildings, negotiate sharp turns, and pass under bridges and through tunnels. UTC surveyors also reviewed all relevant laws relating to the road transport of heavy oversized cargoes. Because the equipment would be moving over public roads and often at very low speeds, transport time windows had to be coordinated with authorities all along the route to minimize traffic disruptions. Adding to the challenges, land transport would have to be completed before the start of Italy's summer vacation season, when coastal regions would be jammed with tourists. The end result was a 57-page document, a detailed guide to the route and the first phase in the development of an action plan for the move. Once finalized and approved by the client, additional months of preparatory work were undertaken to assemble the resources needed for the move. This included chartering the vessel and scheduling the ocean transport leg, contracting with Italian-based riggers for the manpower and equipment needed, and refining and finalizing time windows for transport of the shipment through congested and obstructed areas along the route. Following a 1-month ocean voyage from the United States Gulf, the shipment arrived in Ortona and was safely offloaded over a 2-day period. For land transport of large components like the turbine skid, UTC overseas planners commonly use any one of 3 types of specialized transporters. Sometimes 2 of the 3 may be used to complete a project, but in this case, all 3 were needed. At the port of Ortona, the unit was lifted from the ship onto the first of these, a heavy lift trailer. Heavy lifts feature a long platform bed supported by large arrays of wheels. These multiple points of contact with the roadway spread the weight of the load to avoid damage to the road surfaces, culverts, and bridges. Heavy lifts are better suited to more open roadways, can operate at relatively faster transport speeds, and can better negotiate highway bends and curves. However, their support platforms can add a foot or more to the height of the load, a potential problem for areas with low overhead clearances. For this project, the heavy lift trailer was used for much of the move, nearly 42 of the 43 miles to be covered, traveling mostly via 2-lane roads and through small towns and villages, some with narrower roadways and passages. Traffic rotaries along the route required very slow and careful maneuvering of the heavy lift trailer and its load around the tight curvature of these traffic circles. Negotiating such obstacles, often at very low speeds and with time window limits restricting when the load could be moved, this phase of the transit took a week to complete. The turbine skid was then transferred from the heavy lift trailer to a second weapon in the road transport arsenal, called a girder bridge trailer. The reason? A low bridge underpass about a mile from the final delivery site, followed almost immediately by a 1,500-foot tunnel. The height of the unit, coupled with the height of the heavy lift trailer platform used for the first segment of the move, raised the overall load elevation to 17.8 feet. That was about 6 inches too high to fit under the bridge. And although the height of the following tunnel was 21.2 feet at the center line, its arch shape and gradual right-hand curve raised the potentially costly risk that an upper corner or edge of the cargo might contact the tunnel wall at some point during the passage. To make absolutely certain that this would not happen, UTC experts first asked the Italian Highway Agency for the tunnel's blueprints. However, authorities were unable to comply because earthquakes in the region had limited their access to many of their historic records. As a result, UTC overseas commissioned their own private engineering survey to get the accurate measurements they needed. Those figures reassured them that lowering the load height would help assure safe passage. To do so, they transferred the turbine skid to a girder bridge trailer, a transporter which is literally assembled around the cargo. 2 massive girder beams form the sides of the unit. Like the heavy lift trailer, they rest on multi-wheel dollies to spread the weight. The girder bridge trailer suspends the cargo from the side beams, allowing it to hang literally inches off the roadway during critical parts of the move. The UTC Overseas Project Survey Team had settled on the girder bridge solution after considering an alternate route which would bypass the bridge and tunnel and enter the utility via a back entrance. However, further studies found that a bridge on that route was not strong enough and would require installation of a temporary and expensive second bridge above the surface of the first. Analysis showed that lowering cargo height by shifting to the girder bridge trailer was still the more cost-effective approach. The UTC Overseas Project Survey had located a spot near the bridge and tunnel large enough to complete that transition from the heavy lift to the girder bridge, a small narrow side road just 2 lanes wide, using a system called jack and slide. High-powered short-thrust hydraulic jacks very slowly slid the unit sideways off the heavy lift trailer onto a temporary bed of wooden beams. The trailer was then removed and construction of the girder beam trailer began. That process, aided by a pair of mobile cranes to help position the massive beams and trailer components within the narrow confines of the workspace, took about 5 days to complete. The girder bridge enabled the load to ride almost a foot lower, allowing the skid to pass under the bridge and then safely negotiate the curve of the following tunnel. Transit of the tunnel done at a very slow speed to make absolutely sure there were no sidewall contacts was done at night. Normal traffic was detoured via a nearby toll road, and UTC arranged with highway authorities to pay all vehicle tolls during that period. The home stretch. Once through the tunnel, the equipment still aboard the girder bridge trailer was moved the final mile to a temporary secure storage site on land, adjacent to the utility. There, it was lowered onto another temporary platform and the bridge trailer disassembled and removed. Advanced planning had assured that electric outlets were available to maintain power to heating elements on the turbine skid, critical to longer-term unit storage. The final phase involved the transport of the generator from the temporary storage site to the final installation point inside the utility. For this stage, yet a third type of land transporter was needed, a self-propelled mobile transporter, or SPMT. SPMTs are modular multi-wheeled platforms which can be connected into lengths suitable to the size of the load. As the name implies, SPMTs operate under their own power and are guided by an operator who can independently position sets of wheels to guide the transporter on its chosen path. Because of its flexibility and its ability to negotiate tight turns and narrow passages like those at the utility site, the SPMT was the ideal choice for the final move to the generator's final location. With its global network of offices and skilled and experienced workforce, UTC Overseas Global Project Division is ideally positioned to serve the needs of its customers worldwide. Field offices work with third-party service providers to coordinate needed services, resources, and equipment on scene regardless of location. They are selected based on existing relationships and on careful reviews of their equipment quality and performance and safety records. In most cases, we source the specialized equipment needed for a project as close to the work area as possible. In more remote areas, we can have such equipment shipped to the site. UTC Overseas also commonly uses third-party professional cargo surveyors. They provide an extra layer of expertise to assure that proper steps are taken to ensure cargo integrity and worker safety throughout the move. It's an investment designed to protect your interest and ours. For your next project cargo move, contact UTC Overseas Global Projects. You'll be glad you did.